Hi, I'm Michael Jones, and my TED Talk today will be on goal setting. Former Secretary of Agriculture, Ezra Taft Benson stated, "Without goals, our efforts may be scattered and unproductive." A perfect example of this was in the summer of my junior year. I was on a college visit at Brigham Young University, which at the time was my dream school. It was a beautiful day, the sun was shining. It was hot, but not uncomfortably hot. The campus looked amazing, and so did the ladies. When I began the tour, they ushered me and my family. They ushered me and my family to a golf cart, which made the tour even better because I got to see the campus and I didn't have to go through the pain of walking all day. When we got to the golf cart, our tour guide greeted us and he handed us a folder with information on it. I didn't even look at the folder because I was so focused on our tour guide. This dude was cool. He was a total surfer dude, and he played sports. Going through the tour, I was learning a lot, and I had figured out this was the school that I wanted to go to. Later, I finally opened the folder, and I started flipping through it. That's when I saw the grade requirement. Immediately, my heart stopped, and I hadn't had a great history with grades. In fact, grades had been my worst enemy for some time. Then all of a sudden, the thought popped in my head that with these goals, I wouldn't be able to go to my dream school. Right then, I promised myself that I would work harder at school so that I could improve my grades. So for the first time, I made a goal to improve my grades. Ever since then, ever since I made my goal, I haven't gone anything below a B, and in most of my classes, I get A's. Before I had this experience, I was beginning 7th grade. I had just moved from Wyoming to Kansas. My first day of school was rough. I walked into Spanish class, and they had already started to learn conjugations. When in Wyoming, I was still learning numbers. It was right then that I realized there was a big difference between Kansas's education and Wyoming's. It was then I started doubting my ability to get good grades. Throughout the next 4 years in school, I really struggled doing well. My parents were finally tired of me performing poorly, so they started to take action. They tried everything. They grounded me. They made me go in early every day to get help. And they even gave me rewards for good grades. None of those ideas made me want to do better. My mom even went to school with me for 2 days. She sat right behind me in class, stared at me, made sure I was doing my work. That experience was horrible. And it didn't work. The only thing that worked for me was the experience at BYU. The reason for me finally becoming a good student was because for the first time, I had set my own goals. All the other goals that were made were set by my parents. And those goals all failed because I didn't care about those goals. Because I personally hadn't set them. The reason I shared my story is because every kid, teen, and adult needs to have their own personal goals that they are striving for. Goals are a very important aspect of life that is often overlooked. Only 10% of Americans set goals every year. The same 3 to 10% control 90% of the world's resources. If people don't set their own goals and people start to set goals for them that they don't like, they will have very little desire to accomplish those goals. I challenge everybody to try to be part of that 10% and set their own goals and make sure to accomplish those goals. Also, if you're trying to bring the best out of someone, step back and see what goals they want to set for themselves. Thank you.